Alrighty. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. It's Happy to Hump Day. It is Wednesday, middle of the week for us. Maybe some are listening, and it might be like early Thursday morning. But here we are in the middle of the trading week, and the U.S. and the European markets are rolling along, and I imagine there's a few others that are still just a little open, and then after that they're quieter. So let's take a look at it. Here we are looking at we use the euro, not the euro, I'm sorry. We use the dollar Swiss pairs trade to be able to kind of observe how the dollar is going for the day overall. And right now you can see it's actually the dollar's going down a little bit in here. Who knows what they're doing today. Again, central banks have their own little plan of where they want the currencies, and we're not going to be able to influence it one way or another. What we do is we try to ride the edge of it all the time. That's the way we follow this whole thing. Let's see if the chat line this morning, after this commercial goes through, and the commercial's over with. And let's see. Let's check the sound. Oh, I got to turn the sound on. That's what helps there. Just to double check to make sure we do have sound. Yep, there it is. So we do have sound. We are rolling here. We are 5 by 5. All right, and so you can see here the dollar is moving down. Let me lower that volume, though. Let's lower that volume. There it is right there. And so what else can we say about that? Just that, it has been moving up. Let's see where it is on Chicago Quant. Saw a really interesting story this morning about the commodities. I thought that was really exciting. They were talking about how they're at such high points at the moment. They've been on a rampage for a year, and okay, look at that on Chicago Quant. Let's show you on the Chicago Quant right there. It is trying to perk its head back up again. So the dollar is this is the dollar Swiss. Is that the dollar Swiss? Yeah, that's dollar Swiss. So it's trying to move back up again. Whatever little sell-off they did yesterday, they're reaching up for it. You can see we are. What is that? We're in a daily buy now for it's 4 full days now since here. We've been in the daily buy. You can see we are flirting with the weekly number here. So obviously the dollar, and I think I pointed out before on the spreadsheet. Speaking of which, where are your spreadsheet? There's a spreadsheet. Oh, there it is. Okay, so just need to move that down like so. There's the spreadsheet, and move it over a little bit like so. And the spreadsheet has the where is it at? Fact check spreadsheet right there. How do we get rid of this box here? Let's see if we can make it bigger for a second. I can exit it out. There we are. Gone. And there we are. And so the fact check spreadsheet shows you that the Swiss, right, was it 21, right? Yep, right there. 4 days in a buy, 7 weeks in a sell. So there's some pressure on that. They're selling dollars a little bit here and there. And, again, not a lot of clarity here in the United States of what's going on. Looks like Mr. Biden will be sworn in next week sometime. We'll see. And then it keeps on going on. And I've mentioned before, when you've documented so much criminality, it's pretty hard to understand how that's going to survive over time, because laws don't go away in the States. So I don't know. We'll watch and see. It's going to be, in other words, I don't know how long this irritating decision-making process of the presidency is going to be dragged out over time. We do know one thing. Democrats are terrified because it's all they try to do is get rid of Mr. Trump every hour of the day. He's leaving in, I don't know, 7 days. What? Let it alone. What? Obviously, they're trying to cover up something. All right. So here we are. There's the Swiss. Let's see how the euro is doing against it today. Right there. And you can see the euro, it's backing off. I mean, it's not exactly the best example, but it's doing the same thing as the euro, the dollar Swiss is. I mean, that is, it's taking that one direction, and that is saying the dollar is stronger. So, let's see what it looks like on Chicago Quant. Right there. Now, as you can see here, it seems, you know what? I think that's an up bar too. Yeah, just like yesterday, Swiss being a down bar. And now they're just redoing it again. You can see we've been in the daily sell since this little thing here. You can see the weekly is threatening. It is a watch. And you know what? If it stays like this throughout the whole week, there's a good chance this thing challenges the weekly sell next week. Something to definitely watch out for. I mean, wouldn't it be something that the dollar takes off when Mr. Biden becomes the official president of the United States? That would not surprise me, because you have to interpret that as there's one thing for sure: interest rates will rise. We will be. I saw someone this morning again on one of the financial talking head shows where they were talking about 17 trillion are at zero to minus sitting in bank accounts. And so money is looking for a return. It needs to go somewhere where it can make money. So that there's no doubt about it. That's part of the whole jest of it all, I guess you could say, basically, is that money is searching for a place to go to actually make money. And 17 trillion, not billion, not million, but trillion with a T, screams, higher interest rates in the States would be a place to run too. And as I understand it yesterday, the bond auction was very positive. They were reaching for those bonds, fast, hard, and heavy, and it was a good market, and a whole bit. As I take a sip of my coffee. It's around here somewhere. There it is. All right, now the cable. That's line, what is that, line 13. You can see it's in a daily buy on the spreadsheet right there. 13 weeks in the buy. Let's take a look at it on the J4X. Right there. And you see the strength in it. Take a look at the Chicago Quant. Right there. Same thing. Closed in a buy last night. You can see the weekly is using the time manifold as the thing to bounce off and not the zero line. So we do think that there's strength in that. Lockdown or no lockdown, it's probably a safe haven on some level. I think the Swiss is a safe haven. I think the cable is undervalued. Sooner or later, all this mess is going to go away, and then it's going to have some real influence. I mean, I've heard people talk about 5-6% GDP. It's a big number, big number. So, for this year because of everything being locked down. Now I hear the governor of New York is saying, we can't stay locked down for like this forever. Oh, really? Seemed like he had no problem doing it for last year. But now he's complaining out of nowhere. Go figure, These guys are crazy in all levels, these blue state governors. So anyway, you can see the strength here. It's at the highs of, I don't know, what is that, a 50, it's a couple year high. I guess if we go over here, make this a weekly, it could be a 2-year high, something like that. Let's see. As it fills in on the J4X. Last time it was up in this range was, there's the first quarter of 2019. There's the fourth quarter of 2018. There you go. Almost like the first quarter of 2018. We're making challenges to those lows now, right there. So that's the strength of it all right there. We're seeing some, 2-year highs going on here as we speak. You can see right here, the last couple of days it's taken off. It's showing real strength in there. Let's see, right there again on our work. We put this Bollinger Band on there. We were talking about Bollinger Bands or something, I guess a couple of weeks ago. And so, how our time manifolds work as a like a Bollinger Band to our mathematical average right here. So um, the oscillations are very fascinating with our mirrored time manifolds compared to Bollinger Bands. But that's the objective. We use this math onto our math, to create these bands in a mirror image like the way it is here. So thought, it was an interesting thing there. And, it just gives you some insight of direction, a little bit deeper insight of direction. All right. Nothing. Oh, there we go. We got somebody up there. We got FXZT44. Hi, 44. How you doing? So you mean central bankers are crazy? Wow. I don't know if the central bankers are crazy. I think the policies, they're probably just doing their job, I mean, they're told, the people who hire them tell them to do something, right? And so, they're doing their job. I mean, I don't see them as let's put it this way. I don't see them as independent. I don't see them at all as independent. But I do see them as following whatever the government tells them to do. I think that's the best way to describe that. And so I'm not really sure about the word crazy, but the central banks themselves, actions are crazy. But the central bankers themselves are just following policy. And policy right now is to keep currencies in some type of channel, in other words, at a certain price range against other currencies. I think the policy is to keep the equity markets in a range, in a price range, and not to see any sell-offs. Let's see. Not really. So you mean central bank? What do you mean? You don't? Not really? Do you think what I'm saying, or that I'm wrong? You don't think there's a policy to keep currencies in a particular range, or I don't think government tell them what to do. Oh no, I'm almost 100% sure they do. Oh, I have no doubt. That's who hires them. And look at their policies. Their policies they're supposed to be for growth and free markets, and the policies and what they enhance seem to be the opposite. I mean, is it the worst thing in the world that now the central banks run the planet? I don't know. That's a whole philosophical question. It's very hard to answer. I just know that right now they don't let these markets get too far out of hand, and the C19 and the how do we describe it? The option volatility funds. I know I don't mean to use those profound words, or profanity words, but in the end result, those funds rocked the market. And once they were done and out of business, you can see that the markets are calm. So, you're listening? Okay. So, when you look, when a Mnuchin comes out and says, okay, they're not manipulating a currency. What in blazes does that mean? How does he define manipulation? It's a government policy, obviously. They have a policy. That policy is across the planet. When a central bank goes and borrows, I don't know, $34-35 billion in the last 2 months of a year, or last 6 weeks of the year, or last 2 weeks of the year, since the central banks have the ability to print money, why do they borrow from the Fed? There's only one logical reason why they would borrow from the Fed, and that is that they're all supposed to stay inside of some type of channel on the amount of printing they do, or the price range of their currency, or something. There is something defined, but we don't see it. All we ever see is someone saying officially from the government, oh, this country is not manipulating their currency. Or this currency is being manipulated by the country. We've only seen that. So there's obviously some type of structure that is not being disseminated to the public. Okay, does that make any sense to you? And that is my reasoning. Also, I know what the liability is when it comes to the equities. All these invested funds in retirement funds and mutual funds and so forth. No, you don't understand what I'm saying, or it doesn't make any sense. I'd rather with you going saying it doesn't make any sense. Why politicians? Because they're controlling. They try to control like GDP and earnings. They're in other words, not earnings. The growth of an economy for employment and so forth. If they can get everybody to believe that things are good, then more money goes into it from the private sector. I'm sure they would be much more happier to see private sector money investing more efficiently. I don't understand what you're saying. Well, we see every year, we see central banks doing things or in the middle of the year borrowing money from the Federal Reserve. If you're printing money and then they pay the Federal Reserve, 34 million in interest or 35 million in interest. If you're doing that, why don't they just print money and not borrow it from the Federal Reserve? In other words, they're printing, let's say like the ECB. ECB is printing, I don't know, what, 30, 40 uh, billion, 30 billion, 40 billion euros a month, right? And they're generating new currency. All right. They're buying equities with that. So why can't they, if they're printing every month like 31 billion, why don't they just print like 34 billion? And at the end of the year, they can have that, 44 billion instead of having to borrow it from the Federal Reserve. There's obviously some structure we're not seeing. It doesn't make any sense to borrow like that. Uh, hey, TV, GBP sell or buy? Buy. It's a buy. Buy, 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 buy. Okay. The way I see it, the curve now is just after Second World War. The curve. Hmm. M2 level is how much? Well, ever since the late, I guess the early 80s, okay, and the reforming of M1 and M2, uh, taking checking accounts and making them money market funds has kind of commingled M1 and M2. So following M2 or M3 is a little bit harder to do now because in the times of when those increments were good measurements, people kept their money in savings accounts and checking accounts and so forth, and they were much more efficient. Now they're just not there. They don't work like that anymore. So M1 and M2 is not really a decent measurement anymore. And it all comes down to because the categories were changed. And so what they considered dead money or investing money, where it was supposed to go into the bank, stay in the bank, and get a return, that doesn't even exist anymore. Hey, middle age, how you doing? Silver and gold. Sure, let's see what silver and gold is. Let's see, silver and gold. So there is. Both of them were strong today. I know that. I saw that, or at least they were. Now I say that. Look at that. Silver's moving back down again. Um, and we got volatility dots too on the silver. But look at. Okay, here we go. And we've got this trying to lift up. We've got this trying to. No, that's staying minus. So we're at a weekly sell, and we're flirting with a daily buy at the moment. So we would. This is what we normally do like that too. We put this a reminder in there, showing you that potentially tomorrow the next bar could be a buy. It could be doing that. We'll see how it plays out over the rest of the day. Now let's go. Where is it? Gold. Okay. And gold's doing somewhat of the same thing. We got volatility dots. But in this case here, it's not reaching for it. But look at that. The weekly is. Both of them are doing some interesting things there. It's definitely trying to reach into the weekly buy again. So that's interesting there. And I see, was it that 44 says digital money also there. Digital money. You mean like it's like an M2 now? Well, in many ways, the cryptocurrencies, digital money is a much better tool. I was a little surprised on the dip. I understand why the dip occurred on Monday. That $8,000 drop on Bitcoin, but I still, I understood it. I just didn't. I didn't think of it as. Let's see if I can light this up here. I was really kind of surprised about it in some aspect there. I really was. That seemed to be a heck of a drop. So, and then you can see here, middle age. This thing is flirting with its weekly buy now, but not its daily buy. So, both of these are. And we'll go through the whole metal complex now since we're here. And so for FX or 44, the digital currencies, they really surprised me, but they don't really blend. You can't really blend them in with M1 or M2. I guess somewhere's up higher you could blend them in. Somewhere's like M6 or something like that, or M5. Here, let's just show you a picture of that real quick, and then we'll go through the rest of the metals complex. Right there. You can see, let's refresh that. Now it's trying to get into the buy. Matter of fact, it looks like it closed in the buy there last night. Now that they've changed some data. And you can see here 12 and 12. Okay, yeah, and today's the 13th. So it's trying to lift back up again. So we'll throw this in there. Like that. Still in a weekly, you can see it's up through the zero line there with the bar there. Not sure why the rest of it's not filling in, but we'll figure that out. But that is what's going on at the moment when it comes to the cryptos. Let's save this Bitcoin too at the same time. Because, you can really look at the cryptos as metals. You can see it as, it has so many variables that's really good, I mean, I look at the cryptos like a currency. I look at them like a metal. I look at them like an asset. The cryptos they hit so many buttons now. But they don't blend into M1 or M2, that's for sure. All right, now let's take a look at some of the other metals. Copper, they were talking about that this morning, the strength in it. They were looking at soybeans, the way the soybeans have gone zipping along here. Whoa, what is that this morning? They're going after the copper. They're doing a little sell-off there. We'll see how that rolls along. We'll put a little reminder up there like that and make that a red for everybody to realize that there could be some problems with the copper today. We'll see. Remember, it has to close by the end of the day to give us a clear direction of the math. But right now, it's telling us that there's an issue there. All right, now let's jump over to the last of them, and that is the platinum. Right there. And the platinum, that stayed in the buy, but today it's playing with a sell. But we have got a green dot. Let's reload that. Yeah, we've got a green dot there. So it's still in the buy, but we're really having some pressure here. If that green dot wasn't there, we'd be putting a red line in right now. Even if it had a red and a green, I'd put a red line in there. But since it's above the close of yesterday and it's got a green dot, this is just probably going to bounce off the time manifold and lift back up again on the daily Super 5. And so you see what I mean there, 44? The M1s and M2s, that's old-fashioned concepts that, ever since the changing of money market funds from checking accounts and so forth, those days are kind of gone when it comes to measuring cash. And I mean, I guess they look at overall cash now, but to actually watch M1 or M2, I mean, especially when you're not getting any return at all on your investment. Remember, M1 was supposed to look at, short-term free cash in checking accounts. M2 was supposed to look at monies in savings accounts. Now, when you had money market funds created, it kind of commingled the two because now you could write a check from your money market fund and change the whole concept of M1 and M2 at the same time. So I don't think they kept up. I think the central bankers did a very poor job of adjusting those M numbers. I don't think they really. I'm not sure what their issue was really. I mean, I really don't. I don't know why when they started changing these things, why they didn't deal with it at the time. Like say, okay, now M1 and M2 should be the same number and change the philosophy. I'm not really sure what issue was there with the central bankers on that one. Maybe that was the beginning of hiding the borrowing more. I don't know. I just don't know. No idea. Just a wild guess at best. So, all right, now let's see. Let's check out the metals. I guess we were looking through the metals, so let's go to the metals here on J4X just to see what's going on there. Nope, that's New Zealand yen. We missed that by that much. Okay, there it is, and there's gold. And we found that was kind of curious too, as we've seen. I thought yesterday that was a really interesting point of view. Is that I was looking at the platinum and then looking at gold, and it's come down, and that could be the Yellen trade. Where they buy platinum and sell gold. That could be a Yellen trade really going on. So after Mr. Biden gets sworn in next week and becomes the official president, then we may see more action in this particular trade, the platinum against gold. All right. Let's see. Where do we go from here? Anybody care to see anything particular? We'll throw it up there. And if not, let's see. What else can we save around here? Let's just make sure we get the picture of that platinum. There it is. So there's the metals. We can go take a look at, let's see, what we normally do is we go over to, let's take a quick look at Turkish lira, because that's part of the rhythm we do. And then from Turkish lira, we'll move over to the Canadian. There's Turkish lira. It closed in a buy there yesterday. Still holding up, but it's a little bit lower than it was when it went into it 3 days back now. The weekly doesn't seem to be making any real challenge at all. Hey, George, how you doing? Did you do crude yet? No, let's do crude. Let's see what's going on. We'll go to the oil complex. That's what we usually do is we go from there to Canada and look at the Canadian. The Canadian is moving down, so we're figuring that the crude oil is more than likely moving up. And we look at that like that. And then what we do is we take a quick peek at the NASCAD to see what that's doing. I know it went into a buy there yesterday. I thought it went into a buy, didn't it? Or maybe not. NASCAD must be in a sell. Yeah, in a sell. Okay. So that's curious. So if that's in a sell, then oil should be sideways down. So let's go check out sideways down oil. Let's go to the oil complex. And there it is right there. Okay, yeah, it's kind of up. It was strong today. So Canadian's saying it should be strong. NASCAD is saying that it should be sideways down. So it's up a little bit though. Looks like it closed yesterday at 21 and it's trading, we're at 40 now. So it's up about 19 cents. So some strength there. The daily looks very firm. It's been a nice move there. And let's save that right now as we speak. Then we go over to natural gas. Natural gas has been making a nice dash on the upside. There it is right there. There's today. It's not as high as yesterday. Yesterday they really put a charge into it, didn't they? And then closed it relatively flat. Now today it looks very firm again, and it's been in a buy since here. And it went through the weekly buy here. So, it's been a winner chicken dinner. And save that. So how's that? There you go, George. And then we can go to the Robo. That again might be a policy thing, where they figure that Mr. Biden's going to stop drilling, and we're going to be an importer again. So that pushes prices up. And so that may be what we're seeing here is the strength in this from that. And that is Robo, right there. Let me just refresh that too at the same time, because it has also been very, very firm for days. What's it? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 days in a buy, going on its 10th, and at most the green line is challenging the top of the manifold, the time manifold, which is the yellow line there. Corn up 21 days. Is that what it is now? I mean, they were talking about it this morning. It was very interesting. We're going to jump over to that complex because we did those three, and then the fourth one we look at in oil is this one right here. We look at bean oil. Now, bean oil is flirting with the daily buy there today. You can see it's been in a daily sell, which Robin and I were talking about putting something out showing how the meal has been going up and the corn's been going up, and we're in a daily sell on bean oil and how it's been going down. You know, showing how the fundamentals are behind compared to the quants. Let's see. Let's save that. So there's bean oil like that. And you can see they're flirting with it. Matter of fact, I can throw a little green line up there like that for tomorrow because it's actually flirting with the buy. You know, I mean, if we lose that red dot and this thing closes through there today, the green line in the histogram through the zero line here, we're in a buy again. So it's flirting with it now. So let's just save that so everybody can see that when Robin sends the charts out. Let's see. So let's go to, where was it? You were talking about corn, right? Yeah, so there's corn. Oh, yeah, look at that. Yeah, corn. Yeah, it's been in a buy for a while. Daily buy 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Is there a 17 around here? 17 around here somewhere. 17 right there. 18. This is be the 19th day in a daily buy, and it's been in a weekly buy for, I think you're right, 21 weeks. So it's been way, way back there. It went into the buy on that back here. Back in, what's that, July? That's August, right? August. So, yeah, it's been tenacious, that's for sure. There's like some type of world inflation going on when it comes to commodities. Let's see. Let's save that. Cornucopia. That's some action there, isn't it? Yeah, Robin, we're going to put out, I think we're going to do 3 charts for bar charts today. We're going to do something like put meal up there, bean oil, and soybean. And then we're going to show that, you know, how the quants have been, you know, right on top of the game. Oh, it's up 21 cents today? 21 cents? Is that what it is? 21 cents? Yow. So it closed yesterday at 5.17 basically. And it's trading today at 5.41. So that's 24 cents at 24 cents at one point. Up 21 cents now. I see what you're saying. Yow. That's some action. ACTION action. Yeah, I hear you there. So, yeah, I don't know how else to put that, but wow. And then, let's see, what else can we say about that? I guess that's about it on that, right? National Gas and Robo. And then bean oil and corn. And let's take a look at some of the others, I guess, too. Let's take a look at soybeans. Oh, my God, look at that gap. That's what that is, just a flat-out gap-a-roo. It's a gap. Oh, no, it's not that much of a gap-a-roo. So it's been in a buy for a couple days. That thing's 1 week less, I think. It's 20 weeks in a weekly buy. Middle H says, your weekly quant is the best indicator that I've ever seen. I did tell you yesterday the check is in the mail, right? Okay. And let's see. I have ever seen to keep you on the right side of a major trend. I took profits in corn way too early while the weekly quant stayed green. Well, you know, you can go in and out, or you can go with bull spreads and options, that type of thing. You know, there are times the weekly will get, like, look at this. It goes into the weekly. The following week, the sellers come in, pushes it into a sell. This is like so what is this? This is like August 14th, right? So that week it does climb. It goes into the buy right there, and is a winner chicken dinner, and then it goes into a sell here, and let's see, there's the daily sell right there. Let's change that. See, I'm willing to show you my failures, the math's failures, but the thing is that the math, in the end, always comes out on top. It wins. So in other words, you're going to be 8.5 out of 10 times right if you use the right money management way of using it, and then or just blindly sometimes even. And so in this case here, it goes into the sell on this close, and you're getting beat up. You're getting beat up. Okay, and then it goes into the buy here. Now you've lost a quarter, at least half of what you made here. Okay, but you're still up, out of the two. And there's your daily buy right there. Okay, and the volatility signal came in there at the green and red. And then we go into the buy, and it's a winner chicken dinner, and makes you any and all money that you need at that point. And this is the soybeans, Now you're talking about corn, but it does. These things can do that stuff. It's good. And there's times, there's somewhere in there you can see it. They'll get a little ziggy zaggy. Like there's a weekly buy there, and it goes into a weekly sell the following week. Goes into a weekly buy again, and it's winner chicken dinner. Right, especially right there on that buy. Look at the win. So if you stay with the math, yes, our math is some of the best math out there. There's no doubt about it. It's been that way for, decades. We've been using it for 40 some odd years, 40. And, let me think, what else can I say about that? Robin and I are old floor traders, and we just have a lot of fun using it because it's a lot easier to have a tool that works than a tool that doesn't work. I guess that's the best way. Who wants to work with a busted shovel? Do you really want to try to use a broken rake? You know what I mean? So we've got good math, so we have fun times here. Fun times for all. So, and yes, middle age, yes, the check is in the mail. Let me think now. Where are we at here? So that's soybeans. Now here's a good example. Look at wheat. Wheat was really fighting with this whole thing, this whole move. It goes into the weekly buy here. You go into the sell. You get into a buy. It's a winner chicken dinner. You go into a sell. Jumps back into a buy again, a win. You go into a sell. They sell it down again. The news comes out, and it's a spike up, and now you're in a daily buy and a weekly buy. Now that is Chicago wheat. Check out Minneapolis/Kansas City wheat, the red wheat. Now that was really fighting to be in a buy. I guess not. Now at one point it looked like it was. Let me just refresh that. Looked like it was a day ahead of things on the red wheat, but it has stayed in the weekly buy, these things. So one thing is for sure, there are always three positions in trading as far as I'm concerned. There's longs, there's shorts, and there's neutrals. Now as a producer, there are times where you're supposed to be neutral because you don't want to hedge your asset, what you're growing, because you're giving away profits. So what you can do is you can go out and do some options against it, option spreads, reduce your risk on some level by using that premium from the option spreads to hedge your downside. And this way, what you're growing in the field, as it appreciates, you're still in the saddle again. So in other words, you're still riding that pony hard and heavy. And so that's the whole key to trading. That's what I used my stuff, my math, to trade options on the trading floors for decades or so. So, look at this. Stock market's getting sold off even more. We have a short position on, so hooray for us. Hooray for us. Okay, yeah, look at that. They're selling down the tech companies, which is putting a little pressure on the S&Ps. And where's the low on the S&Ps now? 76.50. Hooray for us. Let's see. What else we got going on here? Let's see. Oh, George says these quants have... Quant's been the best thing live... Let's see. Best thing live done in a long time. Robin is great customer guide along with his floor experience. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Robin's got a ton of experience. He's been on the floor longer than I was, or before I was. He was think he was trading eggs, and he made the very first trade in the S&P 500 futures pit. He made the very first trade in the S&P, the S&P futures. When they created the S&P futures, he's the first trader to make a trade in it. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, Robin, let's put it this way. If Robin doesn't know the answer, he generally has an idea where to go to find the answer. I think that's the best way to describe Robin. Where are you, Robin? Are you out there somewhere? You out there hiding? Where did I put my phone? There's my phone. Where are you? Usually he's listening in. Yeah, you like that one? Yeah, they were trying to figure out the opening market in the S&P future, and I think it was Sanders or Malamed said, "Okay, what do you think, Robin? What should we bid or offer?" And so Robin put the first trade up. Yeah, both of those guys are former chairmen of the Chicago Merc, but he moved from trading eggs, I think, over to trading S&Ps. Gathering eggs. I have a friend who has an email called Gathering Eggs. He's a hedge fund manager. That's his email. Gathering Eggs. Yeah. So yeah, get Robin. Yeah, he can tell you a story or two. Yeah, exactly. Robin says that between the two of us, we have almost 100 years of experience. I don't feel that old. So, yeah, is that something, George, or what? Oh, yeah. I mean, this is pretty good. It's a cottage industry, what we do. I do the Dukascopy webinars, free speech. Thank you, Dukascopy, for free speech. Thank you. Because we're losing our free speech here in the United States for the short term. It'll come back. But it's wacko city here on that stuff. And then there's, what else can we say about the marketplace? Then, we're both working from our home offices, so it's not like we have to put a suit on and a tie or do any of that other stuff. Oh God, yeah. Oh my God, is he big on the railroad, especially the HOs? He loves real trains. We have a railroad museum I guess it's like an hour and a half from here. It's like a world-renowned railroad museum. And Robin came out here just for that one time, I remember. Yeah. And they have like a really nice old-fashioned like 1890s train or 1920s train. I think it's like an 1880s train. Then they have it set up to take like a 5-mile ride. It's a big, it's a train museum. So 5 miles is nothing to something like that. So. All right, where else are we? I guess we should let me think. Should we, any other particular product anybody want to see? We'll go back to the rhythm. We can look at that, or we can, check out that. And then, what other one? Let's see, because both wheats look very good there. They're making their hippity hop in the right direction today. The hippity hop. They're happy. They're happy wheats, happy grains. Let's see. Let's see what the meats are doing. The meats are not trading right now, but they're in the sells right there. You would imagine so, solely because of the cost of the product, to feed the little beasties. And we've had good weather, so there's some good grazing fields out there still. So that's cool. That's important. Let me think. What else is there? There's live cattle. Now, live cattle tried to get into the buy, but we had a red dot there yesterday. Or that's 2 days ago now. So yesterday they sold it down, and we're still in the sell. Now you can see we should put a little circle around that. You can see it's doing it again. It's trying to go after the weekly sell now, too, in the cattle. And let's see. Let's stretch that down like that. Move that over like that. Come on, there you go. And then we'll put the little cute dots around it, like so. Make it a little bit thinner, like that. And then change the color inside of it, like that. There we are. And so you can see the pressure is right on the edge there, and we're in a daily sell. It's really going sideways. You know, bounces about 5-6 cents in a sideways action. The system's been pretty good with it. Let's see, what's that? Cattle. So there's right there. I'll save that. So, you know, we're seeing basically the food, you know, the food commodities all showing life in them. You know, a lot of life in them. Let's see. Robin is... Oh, we have railroad. Okay, so that's the last one there. Usually he jumps in. I don't know. Where is that? What's he doing? I know that he's all fired up about a couple things, so he's working on it right now. Like I said, he's talking about... He wants to put... Oh, let me show you. He wants to put... This is what he wants to do, I think. He wants to show you meal, where we're in a daily buy and a weekly buy, before the news came out. And then... let me reload this. And then he wants to show... he wants to put these three charts in today in some type of article. Let's see, where is it at? It's around here somewhere. There it is, meal. So, and then he wants to show this one, bean oil, where bean oil was in a sell during it all, and now is fighting to get into the buy tomorrow. Well, just because of that, and it's barely there. There's a red dot now, and how this kept you in the sell side of it, but obviously you couldn't be long even with the weekly buy. You just can't be short. That's all. You're kind of trapped into a neutral on that one. And then this one right there, that is in a daily buy and a weekly buy. So he wanted to show the three characteristics of the crush. I thought that was really good. There you are. Aren't your ears burning? We've been yakking about you. So, let's see, what else we got going on there? Oh yeah, feeders. Feeders closed in a sell yesterday, and this thing's playing with the weekly too. Let's fix that so you don't have the gray. Let's just refresh that. There it is right there. I was telling them about the three charts you're interested in putting up today. It's kind of a real success story. Oh, you know what I did? I told them that you put the first trade in on the S&Ps. You still thinking about it? No? You'll figure it out. You'll know what you want to do in the end. There's the oats and daisies acting pretty well there. Trying to go into a buy as we speak. Why don't we put a little line in there like that? And that is, yes, today. So it's a little bit firmer today. It almost made it into the buy. Oh, wait a minute, did it? No. See plot 1, minus 0.15. So it just missed it. So there's that. All right. Where else can we go? Anybody want to see? Maybe we should take a look at the stock indices. Hey, Robin, did you see where the stock market is? It's starting to back off again. It should be very interesting to see where things are rolling again. Let's see. Let's take a look at it there. There is the NQs. The NQs closed in a daily sell yesterday, and that pressure is on. And they're towards the lows of the day, but not. They've bounced off of them so far. And so there's the NQs. Then here's the S&Ps. The S&Ps might be flirting with the daily sell again. Yeah, see, they're playing with that daily sell also. So we almost let's see, right there. That's a minus. Yeah. So, and it's in a red dot. So we may have to put a little warning up there just to remind people we are flirting with the daily sell again. I think we had a situation like that yesterday, but then it bounced back on us. So we'll go with that, and let's see, where's the other part of it? Oh yeah, save it right there. Still thinking about it. All right. What else can we say about this, about that? Do we have anything else to say? Let's see. Oh, let's take a look at the Russell. The Russell's been holding up really well. They are buying those cheap little companies. Boy, I'll tell you, there are going to be Congress people that are going to become multi-millionaires from that. They're going to front run all kinds of wonderful things. Boy, that's why they're holding up really firm there. Yeah. And then there's the Dow Jones. It's doing the same thing. It's holding up very firm in there. They're all in the weekly buys. Yep. That's where we are with that whole universe, you know. All right. Anybody want to see anything particular? Just give a shout out. We'll go take a look. Let's see what George says. Middle-aged muscle agree. A very valuable tool. Murray and Robin offer a more than reasonable price. Oh, I appreciate that, guys. That's awful nice to say. Yeah, we're not very expensive. We're just, it's a bunch of pixels more than anything else. Just experience in pixels. So, it's great math, of course, but we're just, Robin and I've got all this experience, and it's not exactly like we have to work that hard to do this. So we don't have to charge an arm and a leg. We're not charging hedge. I used to charge $100,000 a month for this, and I did that for like 3-4 years. Sometimes I was making $300,000 a month. Just to 2 different hedge funds. So, it's I don't even have to get out of sweatpants. I'm in sweatpants, and the summertime I'm in shorts and I'm barefoot, and and doing the whole thing. It's pretty easy. Life is good. So, or we do it from the tractor or the boat, or do something, kind of. Life is all right. So there's no reason for us to charge the arm and the leg. I think Robin talked about, after the first year, maybe a price increase for new clients. I think that's the most that Robin's talked about, is not for the old clients, just the new clients. Yeah. Yeah, Robin said something about doing something like that. I don't know, not this year, but like he talked about that. And when we started off, or the first 6 months, he said, we can always raise the prices on new clients and allow all old clients to stay at the same price. So he has made that suggestion. So if that's what he thinks, it's fine with me. We usually try to agree on everything. So we usually come to some type. It's like a trade with him and I. It's like making a trade. I bid, he offers. We come right down to the middle where we want it to trade at. Everybody's happy. It's a lot easier. Nobody's pushing anybody like, you got to do this. It's like, what do you mean you got to do this? There's no such thing as that. That's not trading. You got to go do this. So, let's see. What else is there? I think we've gone through all the sectors, right? Let's just take a quick look. We've done all the stock indices. We've done all the oils. We've done all the metals. We did the Bitcoin, right? So let's see what Bitcoin's doing, just for interest sake again. Let me refresh that. As the stock markets are moving down, it's kind of quiet, but flirting, very firm. I was a little disappointed with this, but I understand what that was. There was some stuff on the dark web about the idea that 2 or 3 of the major Bitcoin miners were going to be put out of business. And that's what that slide was. So, well, I don't see any particular reason why not. We can always hand it off to our kids. So, they may not be as touchy-feely, but they can always disseminate the information. So, Yeah, so we just keep on rolling. Dukascopy keeps me here every day. They treat me nice. They allow me to have free speech, something we're not seeing a lot of here in the United States at the moment. So life is good. All right. Anybody want to see anything particular? Any particular pairs trade in the currencies, or some commodity, or let's see what else we got going on here. I'm kind of towards the end of it, aren't we? Like 27 after now. But I guess we'll just watch the way this market moves today. I think there's serious talk of doing something with the what is it, the made the Tech 100 stocks. Dukascopy has this index called the Tech 100 right here. Let's put it up there. Right there. And that is the NASDAQ 100 we have in the States here. And so, they're both the same. And so you can see the pressure is on it, but they're not exactly like going after this low here or something. They're just kind of going towards the low of the week. Yesterday they made a much lower low. We'll see how they treat it. You can see we are pushing into the daily sell. You can see that the manifold gets tighter and tighter. We've been in a weekly buy in this product since like the 12,000 area, or even maybe even further back. I don't know. Let's see. 11,000 and a half to 12,000 area. We've been in a weekly buy. What's that? That is 11,400, and the low is 496, and the close was 11,610. So we've been in a weekly buy since there, and it's going to what, 13,000? What's the high there? 13,125. These are all-time highs. So let's see. James says, James Bates, good morning, Doc. Good morning to you, James. You can look at Euro Dollar and Aussie when you get a chance. So yeah, let's finish it off with those two. How's that sound? And then we're going to go to our respective things after that. Let's go to right there. Here is the Euro. The Euro is still showing weakness. We're in a daily sell for a couple of days now, as you can see there. You can see that the weekly Quant is threatening the zero line, but still a little firm there. So there's the Euro. Let's check out the Aussie. I think jumped into a buy or something yesterday. Okay, let's just give it no, that was the Aussie yen. That's what that was. We have a customer looking at Aussie yen. You can see here it's in a sell from there. Tried to go into the buy but failed here. And it's dipping down minus here. Let's widen that for you a little bit just so you can see it a little bit better. There it is right there. And so you can see there, the red and the green kept it from going into a buy, even with it through the zero line. Let's move that zero line a bit down like that. And then today it's through it and a red dot, so it never made it into the buy. At the same time, we're in a weekly buy since this. Let me see, where's that at? Where's the numbers on this thing? Why don't we see numbers? I don't see the numbers. Anyway, we're in a weekly buy since the, what is that? 69, 9, 10, 70, 56. 70, 56 area. No, right there. Went into the weekly buy there. So 70, 28. So we've been in a weekly buy from there. It's run to, what's that, 77 and change in the weekly buy. But look at all the hesitations it did. It goes into a buy, goes back into a sell. You can't take the sell, but you can do the buy. The buys are winners. Buy again. No, that's not a buy because that's got a double dot there, so that shouldn't even be there. So the sell is right. Just remove that. And then that sell doesn't belong there. And then the buy, there's your buy again. And there's a winner. And it goes into a sell. You can't sell it because we're in a weekly buy. And it goes back into the, actually, daily buy is the next day. And so it's another winner, chicken dinner. And then goes into the sell here for a couple of days, and then back into a buy. And I guess no one's asked for it for a while, so we haven't really followed it for a while. Then it went into the sell there, and then back into the buy there, and then went into the sell there. So let's fix those two cells. Red wine. Right there. So there's the Aussie dollar. I hope that takes care of everybody. Doc is going to get back on the saddle and ride back to the barn. So happy trails to you until we meet again. Remember, Doc is the singing trader. Happy trails to you, to all our